good day. And I would like to first start off by saying that my speech today will not be very funny, as I decided to speak about a very serious topic, which is mental illness. First, I should introduce myself. My name is Beatričė, I'm 17 years old, I'm a student in Gymnasium 5, I'm a motivated, ambitious young person. And being a TEDx speaker was one of my dreams. So when I was first offered the chance to speak here, I immediately agreed. At first, I was motivated, I had a lot of ideas what to speak about, but then I became anxious. Overrun with nervousness, I started doubting my choice. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fall off the stage? What if I forget my words? What if I start to stutter? This irrational stage fright was exactly what anxiety is. A feeling of worry, fear, or unease about something that might happen. When I say might, I say that I've been debating for 3 years. I've done a lot of speeches. I worked my way out some of the most embarrassing situations, and neither have I ever fallen off a stage. Yet this irrational fear overcame my critical thinking, my motivation to prepare. I didn't have anything good to say, and I started complaining to a lot of people that I wouldn't know what to say. And most of them didn't understand my anxiety. They told me to get over it, to stop being so nervous. Oh, you'll do fine. Well, no. Our society does not understand anxiety and mental issues. And that is what I decided to speak about today, to spread awareness and to help people understand what social anxiety is, what any kind of anxiety is. Just to start off, I would like to say that our society doesn't treat physical and mental illness the same way. Just to give an example, we would never tell a person with a physical illness to get over it. Oh, it's only in your body, just don't worry about it, it's nothing. But we would tell that to a mentally ill person. We would tell them, just stop being so nervous. Why are you so nervous? It's only in your head. And our society, even the words mental illness spark prejudice that a person who is mentally ill is somehow impaired, that they cannot function normally, that they're some kind of a freak. And so I decided to spread awareness and just explain what anxiety is. So first I would like to start off by explaining, oh God. See, this is what happens when a person has anxiety and stuff doesn't work. Well, I would like to explain the different types of anxiety. There is generalized anxiety disorder, there are phobias, panic attacks, and social anxiety. So generalized anxiety disorder. It's a long-term condition that is characterized by a constant fear of many things. Just to give an example, another mental illness, depression, usually results in a person not caring about anything. But when a person has GED, he worries about everything too much. I think most of you are familiar with the children's story Winnie the Pooh, the adorable teddy bear who has a lot of animal friends. And perhaps some of you have seen the theory online that these children's book characters are actually perfect depictions of different mental diseases. Here you see. As you can see, Winnie has eating problems, the tiger has ADHD, and Piglet here is the perfect example of generalized anxiety disorder. He is constantly afraid, he has irrational fears, and he's terrified of everything. And when I say everything, I mean that people who have generalized anxiety disorder cannot actually point out what is making them so anxious. They are afraid of everything. Therefore, when you tell a person who has GED to stop worrying so much, to just get over it, it won't work, because a person cannot understand what he is so scared of. Then there are phobias. I think most of you have heard of them. They're just irrational fears of specific objects or situations. Of course, the most common ones are fear of spiders, which is arachnophobia, the fear of heights, or the fear of flying. And phobias can actually be our body's biological response to certain things that might have helped our ancestors in the past avoid death. Just to give an example, just imagine your ancestors a few hundred or thousand years back. If they avoided, let's just say, spiders, they had a better chance of survival. Therefore, their avoidance of spiders manifests in us as a mind-wrecking fear of spiders. But, of course, phobias can actually be caused by social situations. Like, for example, a lot more people are getting aviophobia, which is the fear of flying or being in an airplane, due to recent events of planes gone crashing or missing. Then there is social disorder. It most often affects teens and young adults, and I think most of you are familiar with it. Of course, the most common thing is just general awkwardness. Most of us have experienced our awkward moments where we didn't have anything to say. For example, this stage fright that I have is also a type of social anxiety disorder. And as you can see, there are plenty of situations where a person just feels genuinely shy and he has an irrational fear of any kind of social interaction. And scientists cannot actually still quite figure out where shyness ends and social anxiety begins, but we can understand that a person who has a serious case of social anxiety worries extensively about any kind of social interaction, even like shopping or going outside from their house, extensively before, during, and afterwards a social interaction. Then there are panic attacks, which is an episode of intense dread or paralyzing fear. And you may think, oh, it's such a rare condition. No, about 1 in 70 people will experience a panic attack in their lives, and they're not understood by our society. What should we do when a panic attack hits a person next to us? Here, I would like to speak about how we should deal with that. And as you can see, if a person who we care about is having a panic attack, we usually would just tell them to just calm down. But those magical words will not help. If a person is having a panic attack, which might have physical symptoms, like shaking, crying, hyperventilating, those magical words will not help. We have to comfort them, we have to console them, we have to get them in a safer place. For example, panic attacks can be triggered by all of the types of anxiety that I previously mentioned. And when a person is having a panic attack due to a phobia, we would naturally try to get them away from the thing that is triggering them. But actually, it's bad to leave a phobia untreated. Just to give you an example, when you are in a situation where you might have a panic attack due to a thing, you, for example, avoid it. And then you ease your anxiety. You avoided a bad situation, therefore you feel better. But in the long term, it reinforces your phobic behavior, making your phobia stronger. So if a person has a serious case of anxiety, he should actually get he should actually go to a therapist. And of course, the most common way to treat anxiety, which can be treated, or at least very much minimized, is through cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a way of therapy which focuses on the thinking patterns and behaviors of an individual. The 3 most important things are behaviors, emotions, and thoughts. Just to give you an example, if a person is having a panic attack, he might think that he has a panic attack while driving. What he should do with his behavior is to pull over to the side of the road. When he pulls over to the side of the road, he immediately thinks, with his thoughts obviously, that nothing bad can happen to him. Once he is parked, no one can crash into him. Therefore, his thoughts then influence his emotions because he feels calmer. So it's a bit hard to explain how cognitive behavioral therapy works, but it's the most common way used in Western countries to treat anxiety, phobias, and so on. But it is not understood in our society. We still think that people who have all kinds of anxiety are somehow untreated, that they are some kind of social outcasts, that they are doomed. However, that is not true. That they cannot be treated. What we have to understand, what it's time to understand, is that that all types of anxiety are actually very frequent in our society. 1/5 of all humans will have some kind of diagnosable anxiety disorder in their lives. See, when I once visited GBG, I saw a quote in their school that said, "Sometimes the least we can do is show that we care." And that is what I encourage all of you to do. Sometimes it's hard for us to understand how another person is feeling, but it's time for us to at least try to understand. It's at least time to know what causes these problems and how to treat them. So, thank you.